Te avem vitu me bahtale, te vitu me sam Google, te bahtale, ande kodonevo bershna istumenge. So now we have 7 guests. Hi, Daven Bachtale. And it's exactly 5 minutes. So I'm going to start now to explain about this group. I'm very nervous today because this project is a very favorite project of mine. It's a hard project. And today I'm finally starting it. Hi Roxy, Daves Bachtali, I see you're in the chat. So again, for everybody, I will talk approximately 5 or 6 minutes now, just to have an explanation. Werde nur 5 oder 6 Minuten erklären. And then I'm very open to your questions inside the chat. I will explain how this group works. So welcome to the group Romanes Translating History. The name of this group is already the program of the group. As you maybe have seen already inside the group, the first text that this group will translate is the speech from The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. I think it's one of the most important speeches ever written. And although this speech is a speech of a film, of a movie, of pop culture nowadays, it had a great influence, a great impact on the feelings of society, of the audience. And until today, this video is one of the most shared in Facebook. So why are we translating this kind of texts? There is many universities, meanwhile there is an academia who is concerned about our Romani language, and this is fine. Bacht and Sastimo to everybody who is practicing our language, teaching our language at universities to the younger people. This is no concurrence to these groups. This is something completely different. This is new. What we will do is we are searching for famous, very popular and very important texts that shape the character of humanity. And these texts are mostly available in nearly every language. For example, The Great Dictator speech by Charlie Chaplin, I think is available in approximately 40 different languages. But until today, officially, it's not in Romanes. So I was thinking, let's make a group, take some famous, very important texts to history and translate them into our Romani language. Why? I would like one day, or you maybe would like one day, to read out very important poetry that shaped the world. Words that made you cry, that make you laugh. Many of us people who are passionate about language and also about Romani language, we have favorite authors, we have favorite citates, quotations that we love. Maybe from Shakespeare, maybe from Charlie Chaplin, maybe from Plato, from Socrates. Very important texts that shaped our character, shaped our intellectual part of our lives. And it's very sad that we cannot read out all of those texts to our children, to our grandchildren, because if we talk about learning Romanes, then what do we talk about? I know there is many people today who want to standardize our language. This group is not about that. I don't want to standardize our language. We have so many beautiful dialects. There's a huge poetry in our language, and there's no other word than to call it beautiful. So in this group we want to praise this plurality, this diversity of our language. So everybody who will join this group for this first text, which is The Great Dictator speech by Charlie Chaplin, we will not do one translation of it. So in this group, we are not forced to do one translation altogether. Already today, we have nearly 40 members in this group. So no, not all of these 40 people will produce only one translation. The target of this group is that as many people as possible do their own translation of the speech of the Great Dictator into their own dialect of Romanes. This will show and create poetry of translation. We will have many different versions of translations of the speech from the Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. And these many dialects, they will stand beside each other equally. But we, the people who love our Romani language, we will start discussing about it. As an example, already in the group, if you are not member yet, it's called Romanes Translating History group. You can join anytime. I already posted the video of the Great Dictator speech with German subtitles and with English subtitles. You can watch it, and I already also provided one translation by me. No corrected translation. It doesn't follow any grammatical rules. I did it for an oral presentation 2 years ago. This example that I posted in the group, my own translation of that speech, it's just an example. It should be an inspiration for you and your own translation. And it should be a basis for discussing certain things. So if you go to our group, you see that we have certain rules. Not a lot, but some. One of those rules is that all dialects stand beside equally. So whatever group you are, if you are Kalderash, if you are Lovara, if you are Sinti, it doesn't matter. Join the group. You can do your own translation in your own dialect. If you join the group, for sure it would be cool if you already speak a certain level of Romanes. Kana tu me cijanende bakeren Romanes, kana ci bakeren Romanes tu mendekere, you will have no chance to make a cool translation of that speech. But if you are a native speaker, and if you always had the feeling that you want to use your language for something more than just political translations, then do it. Come into our group and make your own translation of the Great Dictator speech by Charlie Chaplin. After 1 month, we will have another text each month. In January, we have the Chaplin speech. I hope that we will have 20 or maybe 30 different translations in different Romani dialects, and then we will spread them all over the internet. Nobody can take it away from you. You do your translation, it's yours. Nobody takes it from you. It's your translation, it's your name. You can do whatever you want with it afterwards, so we don't take it and just publish it on our own, but we ask you to spread all of those different translations after 1 month all over the internet. And the next time your children and your grandchildren Google for the speech of Charlie Chaplin, maybe suddenly they find a Romani translation of it. So that's the vision I'm talking about. A very practical vision. So in the first month, we will do the Chaplin speech. And in the second month, I think maybe you give me some proposals in the chat, but I think the I Have a Dream speech of Martin Luther King would be a great choice, for example. But I'm very open to your proposals, what we should take as the next text. You can put it into the chat. You can send me an email to Gilda, Gilda, at romblog.at. And I'm very happy to see your proposals. Also, you still can join the group. You can join the group anytime and use it as a discourse place. So what is the next steps? If you're fine with the way we work in this group, if you really want to dive in, if you want to try to use your language the first time, or maybe you're already a professional in translating, you are all very welcome sharing your thoughts, your experience, and your feedback to the different translations. After 1 month, everybody will present his or her translation inside this group and have a discourse about it. And I think the discourse is maybe the most important thing of the whole process in this group. So I think I explained already enough. I would be very happy for every single person who is joining this group, but mind your step. This is a working group. This is no promotion group. This is not a group where you promote other different stuff. This is a group where we really focused work on the translation. We document our work in progress. And if you share the vision that we should have very important and famous texts also in Romani language, then join this group and share the vision of our language translating history, Romanes translating history. So join our group, be part of it. I will have in approximately 2 days or 3 days another session inside the group, also live. But next week we will start with translating directly in the group without any further promotion or something. So you simply join the group, follow it, be part of it, and then you can see all the updates needed. You can have discourse with, there is no admins or leaders actually in this group. It's really a group where we are everybody on one level, exchanging our passion about language. So there's nothing else to say except maybe for Bachtastimo Satumenge, who are watching here, and I'm still here for some minutes. If you maybe have some questions, I'm trying to answer it. One more thing. I wanted to explain why I'm talking English now. I do this intro in English language for all the Gaje and non-Roma people who will not join this group because they're not speaking Romanes, for sure. But I want the world out there to know that it's very important that a lot of texts are not translated into Romani language, and that we start to make a change in this group. So Romale nacholaiven premande ka jesi tikerdem katesvato and the anglicitskaship and the grupa amikrasasvato romanes. At least most of the time we will do it, except for linguistic discussions that are maybe not possible in our language, but for sure we'll try to do the most in Romani language. So I don't see any further questions, or do I see questions? Sounds good. Butchukar, thank you. Kodosi baro bio te khasara ema Romani ship. Yes. Amesete di kaspara pala amari ship. Da murogindosi ke kodonaipe universiteto. Ando universiteto amari ship shaikereli academia, science, di kempala numa amari ship kere site trail. Ande amari konha site trail, anglamaro computer site trail, kanakera svato amensa site trail. And in the future, if you read Plato or Shakespeare or Charles Chaplin, maybe this is the first step that you can do this in Romani language in the future. So show me what you got. Come into this group with all your Romano talent, with all your spirit, with all your gifts. And don't be afraid if you never have written Romani language before. We don't go with grammar. I don't care if your translation is perfect in grammar or written very perfectly, but it's about the words we use in the different dialects and to compare these different words that we use. Sorry, you joined too late. Are there translation projects in the languages of Sinti too? Good question. All my Sinti friends, you can join the group too. There is no reason why Sinti shouldn't join. Yes, Sinti, aven. Join the group. Do your translation in Sinteticus. Simply do it. I think that already if you try to translate this and different texts into Sinteticus, you do a really important work for your language. Because translating text is doing something in our brain. It will grow the love, and the love for our language will become deeper and greater than before if we start translating famous texts also into our language, and it will make our language actually richer than ever before. So Sinti, join the group. We don't have to translate only in 28 Romani dialects. I want to see the Sinti dialects. I'm sure there is many different Sinti dialects. And again, for all the Roma who joined later, doesn't matter, Lovara, Calderash, Sinti, you have your dialect. You speak your Romanes. Bring it into this group. Do your own translation. And for those who think this is a competition, no, it is not. There will be no premiere to the best translation because the purpose of this group is to have translations that show how different, how rich our many dialects are. So if you join, there is no prize for the best translation. There is no critics for the worst translation. We just would like to compare the richness of all our dialects in order to have a speech in so many different languages, dialects of Romanes, that we can say we changed history. We translated this text into Romani language for the next generations. And maybe the next step is that you write your own texts in Romani language, which would be even more beautiful than that. Sajek savo dialecto si ando pushimos. Yes, right. Sajek savo dialecto. Sako dialecto shayavelandiko di grupa, Calderash, Sinti, Lovara, doesn't matter. Avandiko di grupa, da kres tu ciri translacija, individualno, tu kres ciri translacija, da me saketane di kas kodo la translacija, pala kodo te kras comparismo, di kas so si differentno. Savo buci savi vorba, tu melena tu mari translacija. Kodo di kas pala kodo. And maybe everybody of us learns a lot about many Romani dialects, because I think we shouldn't learn only the one standardized Romani language. It's so beautiful to understand many Romani dialects, to understand synthetiques, also if you're Roma. So be open to that. It's our strengths, and the more dialects we understand, the better. So godisi mai bud dialectora kodosi kavele bara pe a Romani ship. Right. Kodosi sostara ma riship siketsa vi barita shukar. I see it like that. It's historical. Our language is a mirror of history. It's so great, and we should appreciate that. And we should not only save our language, but also we should work with our language in the 21st century. And we should give our children and grandchildren something that they are happy to learn. They should see the worth of our language. So I hope the people who join this group, they do it. There is no chief in this group, so I'm not leading this group. All I do is I bring you together in this group, and I hope you join with your translations. I hope people inside the group start talking to each other and start exchanging about their translations. You can call me anytime, you can write me a message, I will get back to you, but it's only some days, so in 3 or 4 days I will start the lectures inside the group. You might join it. Afterwards, 1 month later, we will already start with the second text. You can make proposals. What's the best proposal for the next text? Okay, so I'm already 23 minutes, so I think that's enough. I think everybody who joined, who was watching here today, we already have nearly 40 members in the group. I hope even more will join in the next days and after this live video. Avem sa ste da bahtale ande kodonevo bersh, sa mishtimo dai pacha tumenge. And I hope to see you very soon in the group Romanes Translating History. Bye, Devlesa, have a nice evening.